All right, all right, all right. All right. So we are excited to be here today. So today we are doing part one of our, what is this, a four-part series where we're talking about wealth building. And we have some special guests today who will be giving us a lot of information for free. And so I'll wait a little bit to see. Welcome, welcome. I can't really see who is here, but I see that you're here. If you're here, just drop a comment to say hi or drop your name to say you're in the building where you're watching from. And so, yes, so if you're joining us, we will be talking about wealth building and how you can use the stock market to build wealth. So it's Financial Literacy Month, and we are super excited to spread financial literacy because, of course, traditionally it's not talked about in school. We are taught how to be employees and not employers. And how do we build wealth if we're just constantly working for somebody else? So enough about that. I am Dr. Shanna K. Grant, CEO and founder of Sharp Sessions. I have been a mathematician all my life. And I'm very passionate about wealth building. Um, you know, it's interesting. I wanted to be an accountant in my first life. Well, I'm still here, right? But and in some way, I'm coming back to this, and so I'm interested in helping students, parents, teachers learn about financial literacy. So, without further ado, enough about me. I'm gonna bring our guests on. So first, I will introduce Miss Ulysses McGee, who is the CEO and founder of Susie Lou Enterprises. And she's also a very experienced, she doesn't like to hear all of this, but she's a very, very experienced stock market investor. I won't share all of her accolades, but I'll bring her on so that she can tell us about herself. Hi, Ulysses.
Hello, everyone. I am Ulysses, and I am an educationist. And what does that mean? I am here to teach. My mission is to help whoever I encounter think, learn, and grow. And that's the mission that we share on this evening when it comes to stock market investing. We are here to help you build wealth and sustain the wealth that you build.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Ulysses. Next, we're going to bring on Miss Melody Williams, who will be talking about herself. She's also, she's retired, but also a very, very experienced stock market investor. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Melody.
Hello, and thanks so much for having me on your platform this evening. I am Melody Williams. I have a business that's called Melody's Raw Inspiration, encouraging people to be on a plant-based diet by stumping out PF&J, which is processed food and junk food, and to embrace NDF, nutritionally dense food. And I currently live in Atlanta with my Mr. Wonderful husband for 30 years.
All right. Yay. Thank you. So, what we're going to do is, I don't like to waste time. I like to just dive into it. We only have about 27 minutes left. So, ladies, I'm going to just turn the floor over to you. So, please, can you tell us a little bit about you and explain why, as well as how? How did you get into the stock market investing? Ulysses, do you want to go first?
Absolutely. So I got into the stock market or start investing because one thing I realized, they lied to us. They lied to us when they told us that retirement was an age. It is not an age, but it's a number. So I figured out that number, and one thing that I realized is that stock market investing is one asset class that can help me get closer to that number.
Mm.
So give me a little bit when you say that number. What is that number that you're talking of? Speaking.
My number and everybody's number will be different, but the number that I will need to sustain and support the lifestyle that I want.
Interesting. No, normally we don't think about, so we're like, oh, we're living and we're going to work and we're trying to
Mhm.
save. We have a 401k and we don't really think, well, what if we retire?
Right.
how much money do you need
Right.
to survive? Okay. Before I dive in, Melody, can you tell us, explain a little bit of why and how you got started in investing in the stock market?
I got started from a friend at work telling me that he was investing into the stock market, and I asked him a little bit more information about it because I had never heard about the stock market until he told me what it was. How you buy a company, buy it at a low price, then if it gets to a certain amount, that you sell it, and that's what got me intrigued into the stock market. And from that conversation, it led to another conversation from a guy at work told me that he said pretty soon our job is going to offer the 401k, and you need to join the 401k. Didn't know anything about it, but he said it'll set you up for retirement. So I thought, okay, so I did, and I'm so glad that I did. And he also told me you do your max, and our max was 16%. And he said it'll seem like a lot of money, but as you get raises, then that money won't seem so much coming out of your paycheck at a time.
Nice. So I'm just gonna drop this out there. Do your max, right? For your 401k. Also, we heard they lied to us.
Yes, they lied.
They did not tell us what we will need, right, in
Right.
order to retire or how we'll be able to sustain our lifestyle. And so I'll interject here that I talk about how to calculate this number in our new book, A Toolkit for Raising Wealthy Kids, where we unlock the secrets to raising the next generation of billionaires. So don't worry, we'll tell you how you can get a copy today. So let's dive into the next question. So a lot of people may say, well, I don't, where am I going to get the money? I'm all in Ebonics, not even speaking English. Like, where am I going to get the money to invest? Where did you get the money to invest? I'll let Melody go first.
Well, I got the money to invest. I worked overtime and said this money was allocated to go into my investment portfolio. But I just want to just piggyback on your 401k. Some people say, well, I can't afford to invest in the 401k, but you can do the bare minimum of what your job is going to match. And that's free money that you didn't have to work for. So it's nothing like getting free money.
Free money. Yes. So you're saying you started with your jobs matching you for your 401k. That's how you started. Okay.
Yes.
What about did you do anything independent of that? Independent of the 401k at your job?
Yes. Later on, the person actually told me to join the 401k. He asked me, had I bought any individual stock? And the first guy that told me about the stock market, I did. I had bought Home Depot, and it was Coca-Cola. But he didn't tell me that I should have kept those stocks for at least 5 years. So
Oh,
when I bought the stocks and they went up a little bit, I said, oh, I made some money, and I sold them.
uh-oh.
But if I had known what I know now, because I'm 60, I would have kept those. I would have had a really nice piece of change if I held on to them for a longer period of time.
Yes. Oh my goodness. So you're saying a quick tip to tell students or parents or anyone who's watching is to keep your stocks for at least 5 years,
For
right?
at least 5 years.
At least, not get to 5 years and then, hey, I'm gonna sell this. No, you need to keep those stocks. And I think one thing that people fail to realize is when you're building wealth, it's long term. It's not
Exactly.
right. It's not overnight. A lot of people do day trades and those things. And you can make some money in day trade. Ulysses is saying she doesn't, but I'm sure she buys and holds. And I'm going to let you tell us, Ulysses, where do you get your money to invest?
When I started investing, I was highly apprehensive. I did not want to lose my money. So I had a portion of disposable income, the money that I usually would use to shop with. So what I did, I said, okay, I'll take $20 per month. Okay.
$20? You started with $20?
Yes, I didn't want to lose my money. So I took $20 a month, and I had $10 every 2 weeks withdrawn from my account. And I was testing the waters. I wanted to see, did it work? Was I going to lose my money? Was I going to make money? Lo and behold, I invested for a few months, and Facebook was one of the first companies that I purchased, and another was a cannabis stock. Over the course of about 6 months, Facebook, I actually was in the green. I profited from Facebook, but the cannabis stock, I lost my money.
Oh no.
And that's when because initially in my mind, I'm thinking, well, whatever I buy, I will make money, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's when I came to the realization that education and research is very important when you are deciding which companies to invest in. And so I actually took a break for months, and I just dug deep and I began to research and I began to read about different companies, and Facebook stock still doing well. So I realized that the stock market does work, but an important piece was to educate myself.
Yes.
So it does not take a lot of money to get started.
No, wow, that's interesting because I think when I was getting ready to start, somebody was like, "You cannot put $10 every month," and I'm like, "Well, what do you mean?" They're like, "You need to put like $100 or something," and I'm like, "Well, I guess I'm not going in the stock market." So I did not. So it's interesting that you're saying you started with $10 per week. That's $40 a month. That's us not buying Starbucks, right? Or not doing our nails or something like that, right? But I want to piggyback on the question what you mentioned. You said you did some research and you dived in. Give me a little bit more about that. When you say research, a lot of people might run away when what is research? Melody, do you do research? I'll come back to you, Ulysses. Hi.
I most certainly do. I'm sorry.
Sorry, I'm just shouting out. Days with the Mice is here. Christina is here. Hey. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Melody. Yes. Tell me, do you research?
Yeah, since I've been on this journey, when I started out, I was just basically buying things that someone else had told me. And I would say, oh, well, this company is going to be around a long time. Well, that's not necessarily true. So there are some criteria that I look at when I'm buying my stock. I want to see if the company, there could be 3 companies like a Walmart, but out of those 3 companies, one of those companies are going to be the number one in that particular sector. There might be a BJ's, there might be a Costco's, but out of those 2, one of them are going to be the top one.
Okay.
And so looking at the balance sheets of the companies, looking at the CEOs of the companies, how long this CEO has been in this position that's running this company. So those are some of the things that I look at from learning. So like when your book come out, you're going to have all these tools in there for people to read about and understand things to become a better investor.
Yeah. So Melody, you say you're looking at the top companies in the sector, right? And you're looking at who is the CEO.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Ulysses, is there anything that you look at differently when you're doing research?
Some things differently than Melanie explained that I look for international exposure. I look for the plans for the future. Like what's to come, just now, what's now. Amazon, amazing. I look for those companies that have different exposures to industries that we don't think about. For instance, we know Amazon for Amazon Prime, but Amazon has the largest web hosting service there is. And that's where they make majority of their money.
Right.
So I look for those hidden industries. And just like Melody mentioned, CEOs, vitally important. Many of these CEOs have not only worked for the companies that they currently lead, but they have track records where they've worked for other companies, be it companies that are successful or not so much.
Wow. So let me do a quick, I had to take notes, we're looking for top companies. I hope everybody's getting this tonight. Top companies. We're looking at the CEO, and I'm going to come back to that because sometimes you have CEOs who don't even invest in their own companies. Now, tell us about that. What does that tell you, right? We're looking at international exposure, plans for the future, and I may add, like, how are they making money, right? Is it only one avenue of income, right? Like, I'll piggyback on Amazon. I know it's very expensive, guys, so maybe not Amazon, maybe Apple or right. But
not anymore after the split.
Oh,
Yes,
yes,
it's
yes.
very affordable now. It is.
Depends on your pocket.
That's true.
And we can invest partially, so we don't have to
Yep,
Partial.
right.
purchase.
Yeah, well, it depends on the platform you're using as well. But we're
True.
giving them a lot tonight, huh? But I was just gonna say we need to look at like how are they making money, right? Is it one avenue? Are they only, let's say for instance, if Amazon was only selling books like back in the day,
Mhm.
Amazon only sold books, but look at them now. You have Amazon Music. You can sell stuff on Amazon. So they are making income different ways. So if something were to happen in one sector, they're still making money. So you need to look at
True.
things like that when you're trying to invest in a company. Guys, all of this is in the book. Gotta get the book. So let me take the opportunity to say that the book retails for $19.99, but for today, since you are here today, we are doing a raffle. Okay. So what you can do is you're going to head over to our website and you will be able to purchase a ticket for $5 and you can get a copy of the book. All right. But let me run over to another question. And this is what we really want to know. Can you tell us a secret, right? Now you guys are experienced, right? A secret, because there's so many. Can you tell us a secret that you wish you knew then when you started that you know now? Ulysses, do you want to take it away?
Yeah, let me think of a secret I can share. So one thing that I noticed while President Trump was in office, well, I noticed this with President Trump and President Biden. But if we would take the opportunity to pay attention to their speeches and listen at their speeches, they allow us to know where the governmental funds will flow. They give us industry names, and usually those funds go to the top leaders in that industry, and that will give us an idea of which companies to invest in.
Now, I'll admit that's not in the book. So it's good that y'all are here tonight. So you're saying, and it makes sense, right? You want to listen to the president's speech because this is going to address what they're passionate about or what agenda they're going to be pushing, right? And so this is going to give you a hint where they're going to be pushing funds, right? And if they're pushing funds here, the stock is going to go where? Come on now. All right, Melody, what about you?
Well, I just want to piggyback on what Alicia said. So like
Ulysses,
what the government is talking about and where these funds are going to go, America, the military, they're going to pay top dollar to keep this country safe. So you find a company that's making artillery and the number one in that field, then you probably can't go wrong. America is going to invest money in the pharmaceutical company because they know we are the sickest people.
Wait, y'all giving away a lot tonight.
And these pharmaceutical companies are going to keep these people buying their drugs. And so these are some of the companies that we try to look into when the government is talking about where this money is going to be going. So one of my main secrets is, like I said earlier, is hold your stock for at least 5 years. Number one. Number two, educate yourself. Don't just listen to what somebody's telling you that this is a good company. You need to go find out for yourself that this is a good company. So educating yourself, we go back to saying you guys need to buy her book because I'm sure she's going to have all this great information in there so we can educate ourselves on how to be a better investor.
Yeah. So just a quick note, I'm taking notes. So Melody, you're saying the military is a good place to start, right? When you're looking at where to invest, because the United States of America is gonna put some funds in the military. And then also pharmaceuticals, they're not going out of business. They're not going out of business, right? I can go on a soapbox to talk about how my husband says we need to eat healthy. That's you, Melody, right?
That's right. Soap out PF&J.
Right.
Exactly. So pharmaceuticals. So you're looking at the president's speech, right? You're looking at the military and you're looking at pharmaceuticals when it comes to companies that you should invest in. I'll also add something that is very insightful. I'm giving you a little bit out of the book now. Dividend stocks. right?
Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Woo! Let's talk about
Woo.
That's my
that.
happy place.
Look,
Yes, yes, yes.
listen,
Some
when I
passive
found out,
income.
I- come on, you're getting paid twice. Let's talk about
Yes.
that.
Yes.
You get paid when the company goes up and quarterly or at however they pay out dividends. So
Yes.
now look, can you imagine if you own 100 of a stock and it goes up $2? Huh? Come on. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, that means you need to purchase a copy of the book. Okay. Or go purchase a ticket for this raffle. Only $5 today, and you'll be able to enter into the draw to win a copy of the book. All right. So I know we're getting down to the hour. It's only 30 minutes. We have 10, but I do want to ask this question. In general, do you have any tips, right? I know we shared a secret, right? So let's say we have somebody who don't even know the first thing. They're like seeing this for the first time. It's financial literacy month, and they said, let me see what this is all about. Do you have anything that you can tell these people to say, this is what you need to know, or this is how you go about doing X, Y, or Z? Any tip that you can share with our viewers tonight? Ulysses?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know who you called first, but
No, I didn't call anyone. So
okay, I'll jump in. And I do
okay.
want to say about the dividends. When I retired on my job, I was 59 and a half because my job actually closed up. But when I'd educated myself on where to put my money in my 401k, I fired the managers of my 401k and put my money in 5 different funds. I am living off of those dividends now because I don't get a pension or Social Security until I'm 62. So for the last year and a half, I'm living off my dividends. I just want to say that.
Wait
And
a
so,
minute. Before you give us that, wait a minute. Did you say you're living? Wait, so you are getting a check monthly?
No, she fired the manager.
Let's go back there. So she said she did her research and she's now educated. So she said, I don't need you to manage my stuff. I got this.
Yes.
And then you see what education can do, the power of education, because now she's living off her dividends. So I tell y'all, dividend stocks. If you don't hear anything tonight, right? Okay.
Right.
Melody, go ahead and tell us. I'll be quiet now. Tell us your tip.
one of my favorite tips is invest more than you save and save more than you spend. And always let your money work for you.
Invest more than you save. Save more. Come on, we're preaching tonight. Save more than you spend. Listen, I had to say no to Starbucks, right? And that helped me because, I'm trying to get this figure right. And but Starbucks was costing me roughly $7 a drink and a biscuit per day. Okay. I said, no, ma'am. Let's buy a portion of Starbucks. Let me own Starbucks.
Yes.
Instead of giving them my money, I'm going to be a company shareholder. Let's go. Right.
Yes.
But yes, invest more than you save. Save more than you spend. And what was the last one, Melody? I didn't.
Spend less than you need.
Yes. Oh, no. You said, let your money work for you.
Yeah, let your money work for you.
In your sleep, 24/7, 7/24.
24/7. 24/7.
Okay. And Ulysses, what is your tip? I know you have many. We need one or two.
General tips. I always like to start with mindset and behaviors because the psychological part of money we don't talk about enough. There are many different emotions attached. And for many of us, we were not educated when we were younger about money. So there's always that fear of losing it. Yeah. So we have to check our own psychology, check our own behaviors. Am I prepared to respond to my portfolio if I lose half of my money? What do I do? Have I educated myself enough so that I don't panic and take my money out and I have a loss? So you really want to spend time educating yourself. Also, I like to recommend starting with a budget. And the reason why a budget is necessary, because you need to know how much money, if any, that you have available to invest.
Ulysses, you in my book, sis. Like you, Ulysses is giving y'all a little bit of tips out of my first chapter of the book. Come on now. But I'm sorry, go ahead. You said start with the budget.
Right. And one thing that's very important when you are looking at your budget, take a look at your debt. And not just the debt, but the interest rate on your debt. Right. That's going to be very important for you to pay as much of that interest and that debt down as possible. And here's why. What you don't want to happen is you have, let's say, for instance, you have credit card debt at 22% interest. But you invest in a company and the company is earning maybe 3 to 4%. So it may make sense to eliminate the debt first and then invest in the company. So you want to look at little things like that. Look at the interest. Look at, for example, your disposable income. How much can I afford? Because it's easy to get started putting money into a portfolio. But what happens is sometimes we have a tendency to invest money that we will need in the short term. So what will happen, you will go and remove that money sometimes at a loss, right?
Yeah.
So, and we have to keep in mind from what we mentioned in the beginning is that we are playing a long game. So what you don't want to do is invest money that, hey, you may need for a bill 2-3 months from now.
Yeah. So in other words, you cannot invest what you can afford to lose. You cannot invest the light bill money. You cannot invest your mortgage. Come on. So you have to invest what you can afford to lose, right? And your mindset. You have, listen, if you, and I, what I say is you have to have a goal in mind, right? What is your goal when you start investing? Are you investing for retirement? Are you investing for a trip? Because, we do short investments, but you have to have a goal, right? And you have to have the right mindset towards achieving that goal. Can you do it? Do you think you can do it? And you have to have the discipline. Listen, I'm about to tell you all about the book, right? The discipline too, right? Because if you're not disciplined enough, you're going to spend money unnecessarily, like we were mentioning earlier. You can't spend unnecessarily, right? And so, wow. So just to wrap up a few of the things that we said tonight, I mean, it's a lot, but let me see what I got. So you definitely need to educate yourself, right? And when you are going to invest, you need to look at what top companies, look at what the CEO are doing, or who are the CEO. Are they capable of running the business, right? What are their track record like? International exposure. You're looking at plans for the future, right? What are they planning to do? And also, how diverse is the company in bringing in income? So these are some of the things you want to look at when you're picking companies. And then also, you want to pay attention to the president's speech, right? That one was new, right? Look at the military and pharmaceuticals, right? So quite a bit tonight, ladies. I'll give you one last go around, just to sum up. If you were to say, start now, like, how would you tell them? What would you tell them? I know, what if it's a kid that's on here? Is there an age that you have to wait to start investing? Like, anything that you want to add before we wrap up tonight?
I would just like to say, don't be scared of the stock market, because the stock market is a machine made to print money. But you can't print that money until you educate yourself. And that goes back, get Shannon's book. You're going to get educated on how to make that machine print money for you.
Okay, thank you. You heard that. Get Shannon's book so you can learn how to make the machine. All right, Ulysses, what about you?
I would like to answer your question. So you will need to be 18 years of age before you can start investing. However, I have coached many young people under the age of 18, and usually what they do, they get their parents' credentials, because sometimes kids are more tech savvy, they understand a little bit more, and it's a great opportunity to use the kids to teach the parents. So that's just a way to go ahead and get the students exposed to the market before they are 18, so that we can retire them much sooner Remember, our goal is to create billionaires.
Yes.
We did
Generational
not
wealth.
say millionaires. We said billionaires.
Billionaires.
There we go. Oh, I love that. I love that. I love that. I would drop another tip, but no, I'm saving that. Go buy the book, right? Because I in the book I talk about how you can actually introduce your kids to the stock market, like Ulysses is saying, as well as nope, I'm not gonna tell you. Go buy the book. All right, ladies, thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. This is the first of our 4-part series. Next week, we're going to have some professional financial personnel on here to talk to us about life insurance and how we can make that, use that as an avenue to create wealth. So remember, we're building long-term wealth, right? And we're raising up the next generation of billionaires. And so there are a lot of secrets in this book. And so as the weeks go by, I am sharing little bits and pieces of those secrets. All right. Again, thank you, ladies. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Claudia, Nolan, Christina, we appreciate it. All right. We will see you guys next week. Stay tuned.
All right. Bye-bye.
Take care, y'all.
Bye.
Bye-bye.